So these are some of the basic assumptions that we need to somehow see for positional embedding, that it has to be, the basic assumptions are these, that the position of each and every word has to be in any sentence has to be a unique encoding. This is first thing. The distance between any two embeddings of two time steps for t equal to t1 and t equal to t2, it should not be changing depending upon the length of the sequence. So this delta t, the meaning of this delta t should not depend upon the length of the sequence. Encoding need to be bounded and generalized well for the longer sequences, and deterministic and fixed. If you have any question, please ask till now. No questions? Let's go forward. So what we are going to do is that hence for each time step t, if I give you any time step t in any input sequence S, what we require is actually a function f that's going to take a number. What is this number? This number is actually the time. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is the time? And depending upon that time, it is actually converting into some d-dimensional space. Why do you require a d-dimensional embedding? At some point of time, we will try to see right now. So given any time, I wanted to get an embedding, and this embedding is going to be a d-dimensional embedding, and and your f is a function that you are looking for. And given such a type of f function, if I give it a t, you are going to get a d-dimensional embedding, and this is the ith entry of that. So pt is actually the position embedding that we have got by applying this function over this time. This is a d-dimensional embedding. This is also a d-dimensional embedding, and this is the ith element of that. So yes. So now what's going to happen is that how to get this f. This is our work, that what are that we are trying to come up with, and these are my d dimensions. So I am having a term like omega k, and if I say that my I is ranging from 1 to d, then k is going to be ranging from 1 to d by 2. Why? Because from 1k I am getting one from sine and one from cos. For 1k, one for sine, one for cos. Is this clear, Prateek?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if it is say for k equal to 1 sine and cos, so any odd dimensions are going to be coming from sine. The even dimensions are from sine, and odd dimensions are from cos, and so on. Now it comes that yeah. Can you repeat what you want to say?
What is omega?
Yeah, omega is the angular frequency, and I'm going to talk about this.
Okay.
Yeah, but right now we are concentrating that you are having these such dimensions. So if it is an even dimension, even dimensions are going to take sine component, or dimensions are going to come from the cos component, and my k is keep on changing from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And for each k, I am having two things. So if my I ranges from 1 to d, then k is going to range from 1 to d by 2. And here also you can see that sine, cos, sine, cos, sine, cos, and so on. So once it is coming from sine, other times cos, and then frequency change, and then again sine and cos, then frequency change, sine and cos, and then frequency change in sine and cos.
Sir, here I represents the time, right?
I is representing not the time, I is representing the dimensions.
Okay. So
Yeah,
for every time, we will have some sine cos thing.
For every time t, I am having, for every time t, see, for every time t, I apply this function, and by this function, I got a d-dimensional vector. This is its ith dimension.
Okay.
This is its ith dimension. If it is even, then it is going to be coming from sine. If it is odd, then this is going to be coming from cos.
So this function.
Yeah, f is actually a function. That's the function that we are learning now. This is the function.
Okay, right.
This is the function. Given any time, you tell me a d-dimensional embedding. I am saying that I am going to give you this d-dimensional embedding one by one, or one by one dimension at a time. If your dimension is even, it is going to be coming from sine. So this f is not a fixed function. This f is for even it is sine, for cos it is for odd it is cos, and I keep on changing these values. Okay,
Okay, sir.
these values like the angles, right? So for this you can say that this is the sign, for this you can say this is the thing, for this you can have slightly bigger, then for this it's slightly different, then for this it is even. So this time period is actually slightly changing, incrementing. Time period is incrementing.
Okay, sir.
But let us first understand, and this is the main problem, that even if you somehow got hold of this type of embedding, which most of you may not be even able to understand, let us first understand that why we are going towards a sinusoidal function. So let us see it. That only concentrate on this thing. What it is? This is my one sine wave. This is okay, Pratik?
Yes, sir.
Within this sine wave, suppose that from here to here, this is my time period t. Given this time period t, how many unique values you are generating? Pratik, can you see?
Yes, sir.
So from here to here, how many unique values you are generating? For these are different time.
Sir, depends on how many samples are there.
No, so okay, so let us say that for how much amount of time you are generating unique values?
For one t time period. No. Okay.
For this whole t, are you generating new values, continuously unique values?
Sir, only at the point of intersection the values are same.
Here,
Otherwise, the values are unique.
point of intersection with whom?
With the axis, that zero.
So this zero, and this zero, and this zero. So you are saying that here they are same, other places they are different. Okay, let us see. I take a time period over here. What its corresponding function value is? Suppose that this. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
हाँ.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly.
So t/2.
Clear. Yes. So first t/4 you generate. First t/4 you generate new things, then you repeat.
Right.
And then next t/4 you generate, and then you repeat.
Right.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So that means that only, so if I say that t1 to t, this is for whole time period, you are not able to generate unique values. And if you use this type of sinusoid or sine function, then this and this, both of these times are going to have the same embedding, and you are wrong. Then this is not a correct embedding, because it's not violating our embedding criteria.
Right.
Okay. So how much time? So out of, so if I give you t time period, then only first t/4 and the third quadrant of t/4 you generate new things. So only t/2 time you are generating, and then you are repeating. Okay, clear. Now how can I see it in such a way so that for every time I get a unique value for every time? So instead of single sinusoid, I started to use two sinusoids. Frequency remains to be the same, but they are shifted. Now you see that at this point of time, it is having in sine, both of them are same, but in cos, one is here, other one is here.
Yes, sir.
then what will happen? Then what will happen is that later we can see that if we use such a type of two sinusoids, one cos, you all understand that this is cos and that is sine. Yes, because there is a pi by 2 difference. And if I use both of them at the same time, then instead of t by 2 new generating new things or unique values, I can generate capital T new values. Is this okay to everyone, or should I repeat? You can ask in between, don't worry. This is slightly involved thing. Please ask. Pratik, is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Anushka, is this okay? Anushka is there or not?
Yes, sir, it's okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. So it is actually our omega. We all understand that it's 2 pi f. F is equal to 1 by t. Omega is equal to 2 pi by t. And f is equal to t by 2 pi. All these things are equivalent and you all understand. And this is basically coming from waves. And for the sine. Now suppose if I use sine omega 1t, cos omega 1t, then it's going to cover how much? What's the time period of this? The time period is going to be equal to, what's the time period? Time period is going to be equal to 2 pi f, and it's going to cover 2 pi by omega. That's going to be, so from here you can say,
Sir,
that this
your
much
f should be equal to omega by 2 pi, no? The last step.
F should be equal to omega by 2 pi. See, wait. This is this. F has to be 1 by t. And t, yeah. Okay, it's actually coming from this. Fine, I'll change it. This is actually this. Yeah, I will change it. So let us see that if I have omega t, then omega t is going to be somehow, this is going to be the time period of that 2 pi by omega 1. And yes, so if you use both of them, then this much amount of unique value that you can generate, and after that you cannot generate any new value, and it started to repeat. So the maximum length, if you use two such sinusoids, the maximum length that you can generate without repeating is this. Adding more sinusoids will increase. So if I say that have one sinusoid, then you can have two sinusoids, or then you can have multiple sinusoids. It's going to increase the length by which, after which you are going to repeat. And that is why you keep on having more and more sinusoids. Okay. So what they have suggested is that, as we have seen that the WK or any, W with which we are actually starting with the WK, they have said that's going to be 10,000 to K by D. And at some point, probably you may understand that why it is. Let us start and see it one by one, that what it actually means. Now suppose that here I am writing K, value of K. You all remember K equal to 1, 2, 3. This is my K. Given such a K, if my K is equal to 0, this is going to be equal to 1. This is going to be equal to 0, and 1 divided by something to the power 0, which is equal to 1. And W0 is equal to 1. You will get this, and you will get this stuff. And then if I make my K equal to 1, you will get this. That's equal to 2 by D. That is why it is 2 by D. And now you can see that here your time period is 2 pi. And here your time period is 2 pi 10,000 2 by D. And then for K equal to 2, you do this stuff, you are going to get 2 pi 10,000 4 by d. And k equal to 3, 2k 10,000 6 by d. So you see that we are having 2 pi, then slightly incremented this 2 pi, then slightly incremented 2 pi, then slightly incremented 2 pi. And when my when my k becomes equal to d by 2, this becomes 2 pi 10,000. So essentially what I have done is that if I use only one frequency, with one frequency you are having two sinusoids, sine and cos, and 2 pi you can cover. If you use another frequency and then with respect to that frequency, your time period is t1. What was that? 2 pi 10,000 2 by d, 2 pi 10,000 4 by d, 2 pi 10,000 6 by d, and keep on incrementing one by one. So what you have seen is that from 2 pi you are actually, so initially if I draw it in this way, and suppose that this is my first sine function, this is my second sine, this is my third sine, this is my fourth sine, this is my fifth sine. You can see that slightly my time period is increasing. The frequency I'm choosing in such a way so that my time period is slightly increasing. With this increase, what is the useful thing that's going to happen? If you use only this time period, after 2 pi you are going to repeat. With this, only this, then after 2 pi this you are going to repeat. But if you use both of them means that if you choose this, then the corresponding frequency, and with that corresponding frequency, one sine and one cos. So 2 dimensions. And then here 2 dimensions of this and the 2 dimensions of the previous thing. So basically now you are having maybe 4 dimensions. Along with this, if you add all of them, then how many dimensions? 6 dimensions. And if you add all of them, then you are having d dimensions. What is we are doing? We are systematically increased 2 pi to 2 pi 10,000. And what it is saying that the important thing is that all of them from here to here to here to here, this scale that we are actually changing, this is actually equidistant. And what is that? That is actually with the R. It's essentially a GP in which you are having 10,000 2 by d, keep on multiplying, and you are going from 2 pi to 2 pi 10,000. Now the point is that that we should need to understand that when so if I have frequency W and then 2 sinusoids, I will be able to cover up to t time steps. If I have, so suppose that W0, I can cover T0 steps. W1 with the 2 things, I can cover W1 steps, T1 steps. But if I use both of them, this and this, then how much I'm going to cover? Who can tell this? Pratik, can you understand? Can you tell me?
Yes, sir, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Can you repeat the question one?
I can repeat the question. Let us show that question in front of you, and then probably you will be able to really understand it well. The question is that I am having 2 periodic signals. Let us see that what are those 2 periodic signals. I am having one signal here and another signal over here. One signal is at 3 periodicity, another one is at 2. 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 and so on. Now can you figure out that when they are going to repeat? So what is my, so before that let us understand that what is the time, what is the encoding for my t equal to 0, t equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. So at here, what is your encoding? Yeah, this is going to be my embedding for t equal to 0. This is two-dimensional embedding. This is again a two-dimensional embedding. So 1 1 is the embedding, 2 2 is the embedding, and the embedding is 3 1. Then 1 2, then 2 1, then 3 2, and then again 1 1. This is actually repeating.
So
So when you
after
are
the
going,
LCM of the two periods.
yes, the LCM of the two periods here you can also see. So suppose that I am having time periods like T1, T2, T3, T4, T5 and so many time periods, and if I am having how many sinusoids? 10 such D by 2 such sinusoids. Then when it is going to be repeated T0, T1, T2 and so on, and the LCM of all of them. And
Yes, sir.
this is actually a GP, as I have said that this is actually a GP. And what is the LCM of a GP? LCM of GP is the final term. HCF is the first term. LCM is the last term. And what is the last term? This is the last term. That is why what will happen, that for this time period you are using 2 sine and cos. For this you are having 1 sine and 1 cos. For this you are having 1 sine and 1 cos, 1 sine and 1 cos, and for d by 2 are having 1 sine and 1 cos. How many things? You have got d dimensions. And when this embedding is going to repeat after 2 pi 10,000, after this much amount of time, it's going to repeat, which essentially mean that after 10,000 words, 10,000 first word is going to have the same embedding as the previous word. Maybe at I will again reiterate in between, but overall try to understand what is happening, why they have divided. Nowhere it is actually written multiple blogs. I have to somehow figure out that what is happening. In paper they have not mentioned about any such thing. They have divided this 2 pi to 2 pi 10,000 between so many different discrete values, time period, and they all are equidistant to each other with a period, with a value of r. That's why it's actually a GP. And if I take a LCM of all of them, I am going to get the final value. And yes, after this is going to repeat. Before that's not going to repeat, and that is why they have taken D to in fact more than one sinusoid, in fact more than one frequency, more than one sinusoid is required, because to at least cover up the full time period for unique values. That is why you use sine and cos. And along with one sine and cos given a particular frequency, if you use more and more frequencies, W1, then W2, then W3 and so on, the LCM is going to matter. And then you can cover a longer distances. Is this again okay to everyone?
Sir, a basic doubt, sir. Why is there 2 pi in the time period? That should relate to frequency or angular frequency, right?
That's the angular frequency now. That's the 2 pi is the angular frequency. So 2 pi, we keep on incrementing from this 2 pi. So what is going to happen is that this is anyways going to be there, and after that I keep so if I draw it over 1, this is 1, maybe this is second, maybe this is third, maybe this is fourth, and so on. Keep on doing the thing, and 2 pi is inevitably going to come over there now, because of the fact 2 pi
Yeah,
omega
so
is equal
there is
to.
F, right? So
Yeah.
that 10,000 will then relate to frequency.
No, the point is that mostly what happen, our time period is actually this 10,000 2 pi. If you remember that your time period for this type of signal is say this t, some t, and I wanted to increase it slowly. So if I use it for say omega equal to or k equal to 0 and this, which mean that that I am using sine omega t k, where omega t and k values are being like this, that sine omega t k, and this value is 1 and this value is 0, then this is actually sine 0. And this is saying that if you use that sinusoid, then the frequency, then the time period is actually 2 pi.
Okay, sir.
So for that particular thing, you are having one sine and one cos. For this particular thing, you are having one sine and one cos. Now the point is that let me phrase this question in this way, that you divided 2 pi and this into d by two different things, and then you argued that, then we actually argued that the LCM of this T0, T1 and so on, this is actually equal to this big thing, and this is the thing that you want, periodicity of your positional embedding. But the problem here is that suppose that if I take this and only this, I do not divide in between, and take the LCM of 2 pi and 2 pi 10,000, you are again going to get the same thing. So instead of dividing it in between so many things, if I only divide here and here only 2, so this is having 2 dimensions, one sine, one cos, one sine, one cos, then you are even done. And only 4-dimensional embedding is going to be useful and fine and working for you. So why instead of taking 2 or very less, why we need to take d by 2 such frequencies? Is this question again clear to everyone?
Sir, because more frequencies will lead to more duration, that is more words we can
That is
accumulate.
correct. More frequency. So more frequency and more duration. Why? Because T0, T1, T2, 3 and so on. And the LCM is going to give you this thing. I am getting the same LCM if I take only 2. And things are not going to repeat. Yes or no, Pratik?
Sir, things will repeat, right, over here?
See, here T0, T1, T2, T3, whatever, I am getting the LCM this. If I take only T0 and last thing, only the same LCM is going to be there. Same LCM is going to be there.
Yes, sir.
Then the LCM is going to tell that when we are going to repeat after what amount of time, and both of them, the time remains to be the same, which means that we are okay. Why you require to divide too many times? That is the question.
Right.
So first we need to understand that what they have done. They have done this. Then we keep on asking multiple questions. There are so many other questions that when you keep on trying to understand the stuff more and more again and again, probably you come up with multiple questions. Few questions, I mean, this is whatever I'm trying to cover, this is nowhere written in the paper, first of all, nowhere written anywhere else, but on different blogs where researchers feel that why and what are the reasons. So some of them may be correct, some of them are right now in the understanding phase, and on also the understanding phase for me as well. So we all are actually trying to understand that what is happening. This is one question which was nowhere being answered. I asked to myself, and then I somehow figure out that why they have done this. But one should have to first understand the question itself. That 2 pi and 2 pi 10,000, the length remains to be the same. After that, when we are going to repeat, then why we require only very few? Yes.
Sir, one answer can be the sensitivity, because if you see this long wave, that is 2 pi 10,000, this wave,
Yeah.
the values that it will have will be very near. Like say I have one wave, this 2 pi, so for that it is 1, the
Yeah.
embedding is 1, and then for this 2 pi the embedding will be suppose 0.0001, and then
Yeah.
for the next wave it is 1 and 0.0002. So
Yeah.
the sensitivity can be an issue. The embeddings are not
Yes.
very far, they are very close.
See, now the embedding is for this time step. This is the embedding. These two values.
Yes, sir.
So these two values. So suppose that this is very near or far. Other is anyways capturing. So this is one dimension. This is the second dimension. Both of them are two different dimensions.
Right, but then when say there will be so like in this case where you have shown 1 2 3 1 2 1 like that.
Yes.
So over there you can see that at the fourth instance there is 1,
Yeah.
and below there is 2.
Yes.
So it might be possible that here because of that long wave here there is say 2.01 suppose. So
Okay.
this thing becomes very close to the to which one? 1 2. Acha, no, it does not get close to
Yeah,
any.
it doesn't matter. And in fact, 1 2 and 2 1, the distance you can find out. I mean, from the 0 0, they are actually equidistant. Maybe on the circle.
Yes, sir.
Issue is that how we are going to use this embedding, and that is why answer is not very technical or complex. But what I understand at least is that they are going to use the positional embedding along with the word embedding, and they are going to add both of them.
Oh,
So if you wanted to add two vectors, the length has to be same.
yes.
Your word embedding and your positional embedding, they are going to be added. And word embedding is d-dimensional. So positional embedding also have to be d-dimensional. And that is why they have divided into so many things and make it in such a way so that it can be added. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
But the next question is that why you have added? Next question is that why you have added. So this is your word. Sorry. This is your word embedding. This is your position embedding. And then you added both of them. So why you have added? What is the reason behind this? And again, if I tell, nowhere it is actually written, only on different blogs and different researchers speculated what is happening. And this is the thing I'm going to show to you, that what is being written by others. Let's see, but before that, what is the other way? I can add or I can concat. Yes?
Yes, sir.
So both of these things are possible. They have tried, must have tried both of them and must have seen that what is the pro and con. Before that, do you really understand that when I add both of them or when I concat both of them, then what is the significant difference between them? Something really vague happened when I add both of them. Now you see that I have got lemon soda and I have got tea, and then I added both of them, merged in such a way so that both of them got completely mixed between each other. Then it's the complete responsibility of the network to really understand. what is word embedding and what is positional embedding. But instead of that, the better way was to concat, because here, at least after concatenation, this is word and this is position. This distinction is there. Adding is actually completely changing the whole scenario, merging them abruptly. And it's very difficult for the network to really understand that after adding, you have got a d-dimensional vector. And here in this d dimension, you are having both the word embedding ith element plus the position embedding ith element. They both have got added. How to understand that what was the position there? You really understand this stuff as well, that the concatenation is something more intuitive than adding.
Yes, sir.
And then they have said that if you do concatenation, then huge amount of memory is also going to be wasted. Dear class, others are also there. I am trying to just focus on one because network was very problematic. I do not wanted to touch Zoom again and again. It in between stops. If you have any question, you can ask. Let me tell you that these things are really going to be difficult one by one. And you all are required to pay attention if you are interested and really wanted to understand the stuff. Otherwise, up to GAN, I was teaching. These are very recent papers, and for that, we require, much more intuitive thinking in terms of understanding the stuff. Because these things are nowhere written. This is not a textbook material. This is research talk that right now I'm having. Not even the talk. We are having a research discussion. Anyone can comment in between if you feel there are things that I am trying to cover, because several things that I am covering today, these are actually my intuitions several times. My intuitions or others' intuitions which are not published anywhere. We are just trying to understand that why this is happening. So you all are welcome in between to have some sort of discussion. Yes, so with this concatenation, actually it's going to take more and more memory, and if you add, then it's going to take less memory. But just only to work and reduce the memory, you are erasing the complete distinction between the word embedding and the position embedding. So several places it's actually being written that when you add both of them, network, and I will also show it that that suppose that this is my d-dimensional word embedding and this is my d-dimensional positional embedding. It is being shown that usually given a small length of small so what is the small length of this? Let me show that this is my d-dimensional word embedding and this is my positional embedding. And suppose that t is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 20, 25 and 30, which is usually a small sequence length. Most of the time we used to get in a small corpus or a big corpus of 20, 25 word sentences. It's being seen that the type of encoding we are using, most of the places of positional embedding are vacant, or they are very small values or 0. And if you add, then what is going to happen, that after adding you are getting a vector in which only these places, so only these places are getting affected by PE and WE, and remaining places that's almost WE. And this WE is not only a fixed embedding, this is a learnable embedding. So network slowly slowly started to try to understand that, see, here certain things are going to be merged. So while finding out the word embedding, I need to somehow put most of the important things over here, because positional embedding is going to be added over here. So you see that type of concatenation is anyways happening in between. Concatenation means that word embedding is actually over here and the position embedding is here. This is the concatenation that you was trying to do over given word and the positional embedding. And network itself actually tries to somehow manage that. And I can show one diagram in which they have actually shown that, yes. So here you see that this is my one, some positional embedding. And you can see that 512 dimensional positional embedding. And only up to this, it is getting filled. Remaining things are almost null or similar or something. So here in these places, probably what you are going to get is word embedding is going to play the effect. We will see that once, but
Sure.
that is, yes.
Sir, so then according to your first thinking that we could have just two-dimensional positional encoding,
Yeah.
so we could just concatenate these two-dimensional positional encoding. Why to go the other way around?
Yes. So in this, what is happening is that we are letting our network to do that thing. Instead of hard coding, we are letting our network to understand how many things are important for positional embedding, how many things one should be reserving for word embedding. Otherwise, you have to say that whether 2 is fine or 3 is fine or 5 is fine. That's a hyperparameter. So instead, what we say is that that let us make things, add it, and then we are saying that let me tell you how it may have how this thing has happened. First, they may have tried the concatenation, and then they have tried the addition, and addition started to work well. When addition started to work well, they started to think that why it is happening like this and why it is working. And then they actually come up with that, most of the places of positional embedding, they are not being filled at all. And when I add only these many places, positional embedding is going to play any role. These places are anyways going to be word embedding. So if I give this liberty to the network to fix and choose and do the things depending upon your data set, then it's going to be even better. Instead that manually handcrafting and fixing the size of the embedding. And then network has to understand more stuff. Because something happened, I mean, certain things happen in the, by the network, it becomes easy for a network to manipulate that thing. So it is better that when I do A plus B, it is better way, I mean, easily manipulated. And it's also being shown with another, understanding that I have got from somewhere else. That again, I'm going to cover.
Okay, sir.
This was one crude or raw explanation that why we have added. Another way is that I am having X, I am having Y, and these are two embeddings. In order to learn the attention between any two given embedding X and Y, how we used to find out the the relationship between them is that suppose that this is my primary input, this is my secondary input, and I wanted to find out the similarity between them. I pass it to the query, I pass it to the key, I get QX and QY, sorry, Q into X and K into Y. And this is going to be the query version of this and the key version of this. And then for the similarity, query versions transpose and key version this. You have got this. And what is this? How much attention should we pay to the word X given word Y? How much attention I should be giving to this guy given this word? This is going to be learned in between. And this was the promise being made by the query and key things, which is happening like this. We are learning, by the way, both of them, and they are being learned in such a way so that how much attention I should be giving to this guy given this thing. And this is one single transformation which is happening. Now, instead of X and Y, and both of them were actually the word embedding, only word embeddings. Now let us say that I have added the position embeddings E and F for them. So instead of X, now X plus E is going and Y plus F is going. And instead of QX, now you are having QX plus E and K Y plus F. And then how can I find out the distance between them? So I take this transpose, I take multiplication, small mathematics if you do, you will get this, and then you will get this, 4 terms. Now what are these 4 terms? Let us
Sir, your voice has gone.
make this thing.
Hello?